Okay.
So now we're on Nun Vav Amud Aleph, 56. But lomer chelek kechelek yochelu. Kechelek avoda kach chelek achila means just like they can share in the avoda, they can share in the eating. Umay achila, what kind of achila? Ilem a korbonos. We're not talking about eating the korbonos. May also nafka la kohenim akrivota lo tiyeh. The kohen who offers it gets to eat it. So we already have a pasuk that he can share in the eating of a korbanos. Elo lechem aponim. The eating that they're chelek yochelu, that each can share the lechem aponim, must refer to the eating of the lechem aponim. Yachol af b'choyvos habos shalom achbos haregel beregel. Let's say there are various obligatory korbanos that have to be brought by a certain Jew. He saves it up because he knows he's going to come to Yerushalayim during the regel, and he offers those choivos, but they're not brought machmas haregel. I might think that every other mishmar can eat from that. Talmud lomer levad nimkor v'lo avos. No. Ma machrav zelazeh ani b'shabbati v'ata b'shabbatcha. The 24 Quranic families made a deal. You take this week, I take that week. So therefore, those chovos, korbonos, that are brought by Jews during the Yontif, that are not brought specially for the Yontif, only the family of that week gets to share of that, and not all the other families. Then the Mishnah says, Batzeres oimer lo hilech. When Shavuos fell on Shabbos, they would say, here, take matzah, take chometz, inferring to, you can eat from the lechem apodim, and you can eat from the shtei lechem, itma. Rav Amar Sukkah v'archa kach zman. That the first day of Yontif, when you didn't make shechianu when you built your sukkah, and our minhag is not to do that. For example, it's standing and you didn't build it, and you just put tzchach on it, and now you go in for the first time in the sukkah. He says leishe b'sukkah first, and then shechianu. Rabbi Baruch Hanu Amar Zman v'Arkach Sukkah. He says, no, first you say shechianu, and then you say leishe b'sukkah. Rav Amar Sukkah v'Arkach Zman, because chiyuv diyoyim odif. The chiyuv of that day, which is to sit in the sukkah, is more important. So you should be magdim the leishe b'sukkah. It's more common to say shechianu than it is to say brach on a sukkah. We have a rule, todir v'sheno todir koidim. Now the Gemara wants to say lema rav rachana beplukta the Beis Shammai Beis Hillel kamifliki. The Gemara wants to connect their machlokas to an earlier machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. The Ton Rabbon. Devorim shebei Beis Shammai Beis Hillel b'suuda. There are a number of machloksim in terms of how they conduct themselves at a suda. So when Shabbos comes, Beis Shammai oimrim mavarach al hayom v'achar mavarach al hayayin. First you say Makadesh HaShabbos, and then you say Boi Pri HaGofen. Beis Hillel oimrim mavarach al hayayin v'achar mavarach al hayayin. First you say Boi Pri HaGofen, and then you say Makadesh HaShabbos. Beis Shammai oimrim mavarach al hayom v'achar mavarach al hayayin. Why? Sha'ayom goyren layayin sheyavo. Listen, if it wasn't for Shabbos, we wouldn't have wine. So since the yom is goyrim, we make the bracha on the yom first, right? Kvar kiddush hayom. Not only that, night has fallen. But yayin lo ba. We don't have yayin yet. So because the kiddush hayom occurred, we should make kiddush mekadesh Shabbos first. Beis Hillel oimrim mavarach al hayayin, v'achar kach mavarach al hayom. First Boi Pri HaGofen, then mekadesh Shabbos. Why? Shahayayin gorim lekidusha sheteomer. We don't say kiddush without yayin. The yayin causes the kiddush to be made. So therefore, we should make the bracha on the yayin first. Davar acher, birchas hayayin tadira. We can drink wine every day of the week. So birchas hayayin is a more common bracha. Birchas hayom eina tadira. The bracha on Shabbos only comes once a week. So perhaps Rav, the Amar Kebei Shammai, that first you should say Sukkah, then Zman. The Rav Archana Amar Kebei Silo. So Amar Rav, no. Another Amina Fidel Beis Silo. Ad Kan Like Reis Asam Shayayin Gorem LeKidusha Shetei Omer. There, Beis Hillel says you should make Boy Paragefen first, because he understands it's only the yayin that allows you to say Kiddush. Aval Hacha by Shechianu and Sukkah, he loves man. If you didn't have Shechianu, for example, on the second day of Sukkot, third day of Sukkot, when you already said Shechianu, Milan Minan Sukkah, we also say the brachas of the Sukkah. So the birchas of Sukkah should be said first, because you would say it whether you. Rav Rachan Amar Loch, another min afilu Beis Shammai. Ad kan l'amar Beis Shammai also melash hayom geren li'an shiavo. Over there, Beis Shammai said, why do we make Kiddush first? Because it's the day that caused you to drink wine. Aval hacha ilav Sukkah milah minan zman. What do you mean? If you didn't have a Sukkah and you were eating in your house, you'd also say Shechianu. So you have Shechianu even without the bracha on Sukkah. Of course, we paskin that we make the leishev first and then the zman. Tanan batzeres oimerlo hilich matzah hilich chametz. We said take the matzah, take the chametz. The hacha, the chametz ikar, umatzah tofel. Now remember, the main korban of Shavuos is the shtei alechem. It's Chag HaShavuos, and that's chametz. That's the korban hayom. Yet uktani hilich matzah vehilich chametz. They distributed the lechem aponim first, which is tadir, because that's done every Shabbos, and this is only done once a year. So tiyufta derav. It's not a tiyufta, because I have a Tana that holds like me, the Tanya. Hilich matzah, hilich chametz. Aber shalom, hilich chametz, hilich matzah. So there is a Tana like Rav. Darash Rav Nachman bar Rav Chisda lo kedivrei Rav, the Omer Sukkah v'achar kach zman. Rav Chisda says the halacha is not like Rav, that we say leishev and then shechianu. Ela zman v'achar kach Sukkah. Rav Sheshes Bravidi Omer Sukkah v'achar kach zman. V'hilchasa Sukkah v'achar kach zman. That's the halacha. Now Yom Tov Sheni, as you know.
So what about what do you got for that? What about Todir?
Second day of Shavuos, second day of Sukkot, we reverse it. We say the Shechianu first and then the Leishev, because the Shechianu is connected to the Kiddush on that day. Since it's the second day could be the first day, the Kiddush is primary, and therefore the Zman is said connected to the Kiddush. That's how the Shulchan Aruch and Ramah paskin. What was Alan asking?
So, but the first day. So, what about the Tadir? That because this Zman comes more often than the Leishev Sukkah the first day. I know the second day we do, but what about the first day when we say Zman afterwards?
So we also brought a raya that we should follow Tadir. So Rav says that's machlokes Tanoim. Hilech chametz.
Yeah, right. So
hilech matzah, hilech chametz. That's Tadir, but hilech chametz, hilech matzah. The lechem, the shtei lechem is not Tadir as it compares to lechem aponim. Yet Abba Shol says you distribute chametz first because that's the korban hayom. So that's the chiyuv hayom. So that's the svar of Rav why he says you say leishev first because it's a chayvus hayom.
Okay.
Mishmar shezmanu kavua. We said the mishmar of that week. He gets the all the other things that are not connected to the regel. Now, Lasuyi Mai, what are the things? Lasuyi Parlam Davashal Tzibur. Usiiri Avodah. If Sanhedrin Paskin, for example, that this piece of meat is not chaylim, and the majority, 51% of Klal Yisrael ate it, thinking that it's kosher, and they really paskined wrong, and they all ate chaylim. So rather than every individual Jew who ate it brings their own korban chatas, since it was a tzibur dika din, the Sanhedrin brings what's called a parhelim davar shel tzibur. So if that korban is brought, that's included in what they share, what only that week's family share. And the same thing by a Siri Avodah Zarah if they made a mistake regarding Avodah Zarah. Kitzah Mizbeach is like dessert for the Mizbeach, meaning they never let the Mizbeach not be occupied with korbanos. They always would offer oilos when they saw the Mizbeach was not occupied. So, for example, the hides of those olos, that's very valuable. So those went to the families as well of that week, not of all the families that came oil regal side. Mishnah. Yom Tov Asamach LaShabbos. If Yom Tov falls on Friday or Sunday, right? Bein milfaneh bein lachrea. Hayukol mishmor Shabbos b'chiluk lechem haponim. Again, on Shabbos when they distribute lechem haponim, all the mishmors were equal. Chaliyos yom echad lahafsik ben tayim. If there's a day separating Yom Tov and Shabbos, Mishmar Shezmanu Kavua, Haya Noitel Eser Chalos, the Mishmar of that week would get 10 out of the 12. Those families that remained behind didn't go back to Tel Aviv yet. Hamisakev Noitel Shtaim, they get to share 2. Now, every week of the year, not Yontiv. So the Mishmaros would change on Shabbos. So B'shar Yemos Hashanah, Hanichnas Noitel Sheish, right? The incoming family gets 6. Vayotze Noitel Sheish. You know, Hanichnas Noitel Sheva, the family coming in gets 7. Vayotze Noitel Chomesh. So that's a machloikas tanoi. Hanichnosim cholkin batzafon, the family coming in divide up the lechem haponim in the north, and the yotzin badorim. Now there was one family called Bilga. Bilga loylam cholekes badorim. They were punished. They always divided in the south. V'tabosa kvua, their ring, where they used to did shchit of the korbanos was closed. The chaloina stuma, the window where they had their shchita knives, were also closed up. We'll see they were punished. We'll see why. Now, Maimel Faneo Maimelach, what do we mean? Yom Tov was before Shabbos, after Shabbos. So Ilema Lefanea Yom Tov Rishon. That means, let's say you're talking about the first day of Sukkot was a Friday. And Le'achrea, when Yom Tov Achron, when in the last day, Shmini Atzeres, is after, well then you could have just said, Hainu Shabbos Shabbatoch Echad. Just mention the case of Shabbos within the Yom Tov. El Lefanez Yom Tov Achron is when Shmini Atzeres falls on a Friday. And Le'achrea is when the first day of Sukkot falls on a Sunday. My time, some of the families are going to have to come early they have to be there on Friday already. And the ones that leave cannot leave yet. They can't leave. They have to wait till the next day before they. So Tiknu Rabbanan Milsa Kiechid Nichlu Badi Adari. So they established this geder or this takana in order for them to be able to eat the lechem haponim together. Nun vava mebez. Chal yomech. V'hani tarti maya v'ditayu. So Rav Yehuda said that the incoming family gets 7. And the outgoing family only gets 5, 2 more. Why is this? Because the incoming family have to close the doors of the base of Mikdash. And so they get paid extra. The name alay dal bedal. So why don't the incoming family sort of or the ex-going family make a deal with them and say, listen, let's split it 6 and 6, and we'll do the same thing with you next time. Amrabaya butzina tava mikara. You'd rather have a ripe cucumber now, even though it's small, than wait for a later one because you don't have it now. So people don't want to.
1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
People don't want to be
1
mavater.
in the hand is worth.
Well, it's actually 2 in the bush is worth more than 1, right? They'd rather have more now.
Yeah.
Right.
So 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
On Rav Yehuda, but uvemusafim cholkim. They did divide the mishmar of nichnas and the mishmar yotzei. They divided the hides of the olos of the musaf equally. So meisvei mishmar hayotzeis, the outgoing mishmar osa tomit shel shachar musafim. They're the ones who do the tomit shel boiker and the musaf. So l'chora, this is a raya that the mishmar anichnas doesn't do get any of the musaf. Mishmar anichnas is the incoming gets oisa tomit shel ben arbaim uvazich. V'ilu musafim chalkin lok doesn't say that they share in the musaf. So versus high tan of a chalukah lokamayri, because that tan is not dealing with chalukah of musaf. Right? It's just showing what avoid do they do, but not about the chalukah and economy. They could be cholik at the shavuot. Amarava, va'atanat ve'ishmol demay b'chalukah, but the Tanab ve'ishmol did occupy itself with the sugi of chalukah. Uv musaf chalkin lo ktani. And I'm going to show you that they didn't say anything that they divide up the musafs between the families. The Tanab ve'ishmol. Mishmar hayotzis the outgoing mishmar also tomit shel shachar umusafim without division. Mishmar zanichnes is also tomit shel ben arbaim vazichim. Arba kohanim hayu nichnosim sham. 4 kohanim would go into the heichal. Shnai mishmar zu, 2 from each mishmar. V'chokin lechem haponim, so the lechem haponim was divided equally. But v'ilu b'musafim chokin loktani. Tiyufta Rav Yehuda, tiyufta. We knocked Rav Yehuda's sheet out of the box. There is no 7 and 5. It's always divided equally. I'm sorry, no. 7 and 5 remains. It's this other one, a Rav Yehuda Musafim Cholkin, that in a Chanami, from the Tanah Devei Yishmael, they don't divide the Musaf. The outgoing family gets all of the Musaf. Then we said, but the incoming family divided up in the north as a simon, that they're the incoming family. It's the same simon. And then we describe the family Bilga where they were always punished. Maisa b'Miriam bas Bilga. There was a lady, Miriam bas Bilga, Shemira Daita, she changed religions. She became a Geshmadidid. She married one of the Greek governors. When the Greeks defeated the Jews before the Maccabim threw them out, and they came into the Heichal, she took off her shoe, pounded the Mizbeach, the Amra, Lucas. Lucas is like a wolf. Because Ad Moshe Atam Achalam Amonin Shel Yisrael. Look at you, Mizbeach, how much assets of Klal Yisrael you ate up. And you didn't defend them when they needed it, when the Greeks came in. So when the Chachamim heard that the lady from this family had said this, so later on in perpetuity, they closed up their shchita ring, so they couldn't shech, and they closed off their shchita knives. Some say they were lazy and they came late as a family. And his brother Yeshevav came in with him, and worked instead of Bilga. Normally, right, oilish Russia, oilish Shcheno, normally a shachim will not benefit. Shcheni Bilga nishtakru. The neighbors of Bilga did benefit because Yeshevav were their shachim, and they got more stuff because they filled in Bilga's shoes. Right, because of the punishment, Yeshevav always got in the north. It was more in the north. I understand why the punishment is because there was a lazy mishmar. So I understand why the whole mishmar got punished. I understand if it was one woman that converted, because of the one girl, you knas the whole shaven? Or by in. Yeah, she shoot the dinuka b'shuka. If you hear a child using bad language in the market, it's either they hear it from their father, they're their mother. So the surrounding family had to be punished because that's where Miriam Bas Bilga got the idea to convert to a different religion. We're going to leave the last. We have to make a lot of siyumim. We have to plan when we're going to do it, and we'll do a siyum as well here. So tomorrow we will learn the new Masechta 7:30, and this today is the whole world finished today.